have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabunker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And Kenton, I've recently watched again The Empire Strikes Back.
I saw it on TikTok.
You saw it on TikTok, yeah.
About it, yeah.
I grabbed it out of my bin, my home bin, which is now gone. I've gotten rid of the home bin because it collapsed under its own weight. Cardboard is not the best construction material, and I kind of intended that to happen. I wasn't going to keep doing that forever. The thing about TikTok is you can't keep doing the same thing forever. People get bored of it, so you have to change it up and kind of do different things. And I actually have a new project on the horizon for TikTok. I'm not going to announce it here, but maybe by the time next week, I will be able to tell you about my new TikTok project that's going to start in April. April 1st is my new thing.
And Dan, I have to tell you, tonight, I'm going to do what I've been threatening to do on TikTok for some time now. I am going to reach into a garbage bin. Well, you'll see.
I can't wait to see what happens there.
I have a punchline. I have a story.
That's awesome.
I have a parody of other TikTokers that I see on there.
Awesome.
Let's see how it goes. I think it'll probably be terrible. It'll be terrible, but I'm going to try it anyway.
That's what TikTok's all about. That is exactly. You just encompass the whole experience.
That's exactly right.
But I did watch Empire Strikes Back. I did pull it out of my bin, and it was nice to watch it again. I have to say, it was nice to watch it after seeing the Book of Boba Fett and all that stuff we saw with Luke and Grogu. That, like, watching that scene when Luke training with Yoda, that was very reminiscent, and it just kind of brought that back to my heart, which was nice.
Oh, yeah.
So that was great to watch it. It's still an amazing film. I feel like at this point, it's almost like a bedtime story. I know it so well. Like, I can just repeat it beat by beat, and I know exactly what's going to happen, but it's so comforting when it does. There's a lot of great stuff in there.
Oh, it's great. I love the palette. As I always say, the color palette alone is a wonderful thing. And I think that movie after I saw that movie as a younger person, I started really liking films with that kind of palette. It's funny. It sort of influenced my my love of the kinds of films that I continue to enjoy to this day. And
I've got a bit of trivia here for you, Kenton. I just kind of noted this, and I thought put you on the spot and see if you know the answer to this question. Who is Wedge's gunner? What is the name of Wedge's gunner in the Battle of Hoth?
Luke's is Dak.
Yeah.
Wedge's is hang on, it's coming back to me. Janson.
Close.
No, it's not Janson.
Is it Janson or Jaxxon? I wrote down Jaxxon.
Oh, I could just think it's Janson because I thought he had a Mennonite gunner.
I'll give it to you.
I don't know. That's a very, you know what? One of us has misheard it.
It's a pretty busy scene, so there's a lot going on. And honestly, my favorite Wedge line from that scene is, "Yeah, that got him," or whatever he says.
That got him. Yeah,
that got him. I love that line. Anyway,
hang on.
All right,
I'm looking it up really fast.
Go ahead.
Because I gotta know now. I gotta know if I've misheard it all this time.
I'm gonna look up.
It's Janson. I was right.
Janson. Okay, you got it. So you were right. Good job.
Wes Janson, Janson.
There we go.
Very good.
Cool. All right, let's get into this week's clickbait.
What? How? What are you talking about? Huh? What? Goodness gracious me.
Oh, I was hoping you had more trivia questions for me.
No, that's just the one. Maybe I'll do that every week. Maybe I'll come up with one every week, and then we can.
Oh, this is
that an ongoing bit.
When I was a student at RRC Polytech, then just called Red River College, we used to do a joke segment on our radio show called Ask Mr. Hockey. And the joke was that I don't know anything about hockey, and they would ask me trivia questions about hockey, and I'd make up joke answers. So this would be, this sort of brought me back to that moment, and I enjoy it. So please do.
Geez, talking about intrusive advertising, something you just played. That's the first rule, is like not to. What's going on here? That's weird.
Yeah.
The first rule is to not have anything autoplay on your computer. That's the worst thing you can do to somebody.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're supposed to, at work in particular, if somebody's at work, they don't want this thing bursting.
What the hell is going on? I just got to mute it.
There you go.
Okay, that's freaking annoying. So this week, getting back to the clickbait, I don't know where we were or what I said. The clickbait line is, I sent this to you, I was pissed off at this one. Kathleen Kennedy and Ewan McGregor's explanation of Obi-Wan Kenobi's mental state shows their complete lack of understanding about the Jedi. Every word of this title is capitalized, and I hate that. But
it really shows the complete lack of understanding on the part of this writer.
That's right. It does. In more ways than one. It is, of course, clickbait. But the argument here is that because in the all the hype about Obi-Wan, of course, there's lots of interviews with Ewan. This again jumps off an interview with both Ewan McGregor and Kathleen, separate interviews. They were not in the room together or anything like that. Completely taking out of context with each other. Like, this is the thing I hate most, is that they take these random quotes and they put them all together and make it seem like it's a thing they were all agreeing on or something like that. I don't like that. And it even talks about the writer of the show. They're just, the point of this article is saying they don't know what they're talking about. It's going to be a crappy show. I think that's what this is implying. Do you agree?
No, I don't. I mean, yeah, they are implying that that's going to be the case. But it's also, how many thousands of articles are there like this where they're, here's my understanding and why everybody else is wrong. Mm-hmm. Here we go. And the headline is supposed to get people to read it. It's supposed to create conflict among readers so that they stay on the page longer and maybe they write comments and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I've stopped. I mean, the tragedy, not of Darth Plagueis, but the tragedy of this kind of article is that it has ruined people's enjoyment of articles about Star Wars, where everything now has to be some big, here's 15 reasons why Wedge was a stupid character to put in Star Wars or whatever. And you're just, why do we even need this? And same with this. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I'm guessing the person who wrote this is maybe 15 years old.
Well, I think that I don't see any spelling errors, so maybe not. But just joking. I have a 15-year-old son. I can make that joke. Actually, he's a very good writer. Jack is a very good writer. The show's writer, this is quoting from the article now. The show's writer, Joby Harold, stated, "When we last saw Obi-Wan in the prequels, he's very emotional. There's a passion to him, and we get to see him again in A New Hope. He is a Zen master." All of these three different interviews they're talking about, Ewan McGregor, Kathleen Kennedy, and Joby Harold, they're talking about the idea of Obi-Wan starting this series very emotional and conflicted and upset because his friend has died, because Anakin is gone, because he's lost. Everything is horrible has happened. He's like, at the end of Revenge of the Sith, it's just, even though the twins are born and we see the babies and everything, it's pretty shitty, right? It's not a great ending for people. The Empire is taken over. The Empire is starting. It's not meant to be a happy ending. And so they're saying that's the state of Obi-Wan. He is conflicted. He is like, he doesn't know what's going on. He's freaking out. And he's also been charged with watching Luke. That's what they're setting up with this. This article says that's bullshit. He's not like this. They clearly show at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Listen. First off, Harold must have forgotten how Revenge of the Sith ends, because Kenobi is not emotional at the end of the film. He is emotional following his duel with Anakin and leaving him to die in Mustafar. However, at the end of the movie, Kenobi is not emotional. He volunteers to watch over Luke Skywalker and then dutifully takes up training to learn how to commune with Qui-Gon Jinn, assigned to him by Yoda. Well, first of all, we don't know that was assigned to him. I think that's a reach there. But yeah, this is just like, come on, it's a scene in a movie. Like, you want to be all freaking, here's the baby, man. You want him to like freaking out and like. What do you want him to act like in that scene, right?
A person's mental state can be held within. A person's emotions can be held within.
Especially a Jedi's. Right. Especially a Jedi's.
This guy needs everything, like needs an emoji to show him how everybody's feeling at all times. Yeah. It's absolutely without merit.
Oh, I got to continue. This is hilarious. So the whole idea that Kenobi has to go from this passion in Sith to Zen master in A New Hope is, in all purposes, a crock of crap. I've never heard that before. They don't want to use the shit word, the SH word, I guess. Maybe they like alliteration. It's made up. It doesn't exist. I think this article is made up and therefore doesn't exist. I'm going to close it now because I'm getting mad about it.
I know but there's so much of this. There's so much of it.
I know.
And it's all on Flipboard too.
I've stopped using Flipboard. I pretty much stopped with that.
Flipboard
can't.
constantly feeds you that stuff. That's the problem.
Because they've learned how to game the system. They've really learned how to game the system, and this is what drives the algorithm, right? The search terms, the click. I mean, I probably helped the process by clicking on that article. So I guess I'm part of the problem. But I think that I like to look at them and really call them out to say, look, we should not. And then for people listening to this, like, if you see something like this, don't click on it. Right? Telling you guys so you don't make our mistake, I guess.
I've also noticed there's been a real pile of articles lately about this fan favorite character may be showing up in Obi-Wan. And I'm like, okay, let's have a look. And it's like, it's always something like, Lieutenant Smith from Heir to the Empire, chapter 6, is going to like come walking through the hallway at some point. And you're like, okay, I can't believe. And of course, because they want you to keep reading, they don't just say in the lead, a character, a bit part in Heir to the Empire may be in Obi-Wan. They don't say that in the lead. They repeat what's in the headline. They make you read all the way down. It's like the reverse way you're supposed to write an article because it makes people stay on the page longer. And then you get to the end and it's like a big empty nothing when you get there. So there's so much of it.
And this is, I think, another example of it. Moving on to our main topic for today's podcast, the casting news we got last week for The Mandalorian Season 3. Kentis, why don't you let us know what it is?
It's that Christopher Lloyd is going to be on the show.
So that is yet another Hollywood legend. I don't say a ton of Hollywood legends have been involved at this point, but we're going to see more. And we predicted this as soon as we saw like at least some well-known faces get involved with this show early on, right? Even Horatio Sands, not a huge name, but once you start recognizing faces, and then we've seen so many examples of that.
Lots of comedians.
Lots of comedians. Yes, that seems to be the
Christopher
connection.
Lloyd's an actor. He's not a comedian first.
No, but a comic actor. I mean, known as a comic actor a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, very much so. Taxi, Back to the Future, and he was in Winnipeg recently with Bob Odenkirk shooting Nobody. So,
which I just saw way too recently. I didn't watch that until way after it came out, but I will say that he looked like he was having a blast on that movie. It's an interesting character. It's a fun character. The whole premise is really fun. And he was like, I don't know, I can't remember how old he's in his 70s or 80s, I guess. He's getting up there, but he is really still active, I think, and he'll be good to see in this. I'm excited.
Do you think, does this article tell us or guess at who he'll be playing?
Oh, you better believe it does, Kenton. I actually haven't read this yet. So this is from Inverse. I'll link to it below.
Good.
This is
which obscure character from Heir to the Empire is he supposed to be
This
playing?
is probably going to follow your formula exactly. What you just said is going to be in this. So here's the headline, another clickbait headline. Christopher Lloyd's Mandalorian Season 3 character could set up a pivotal storyline. And then the subhead, The Mandalorian has never been afraid of pulling from Star Wars past, but could a 40-year-old comic be an inspiration? Well, you've just answered your own question there, buddy. Like,
so let me get this straight. He's playing Jax the bunny?
Yes, he will voice Jaxxon the bunny. Oh, that's for sure. I can totally see that happening.
Boy, by the way, this has been a podcast of Jaxxon and Janson. I'm just going to point out.
There we go. I think that's got to be the name of the episode.
Jaxxon? Is the bunny Jaxxon?
Yeah, Jaxxon with 2 X's, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Janson with 2 N's?
No, it's Janson according to Wikipedia.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I will change that, but that will be the episode
title. He is Mennonite, Janson.
Okay, good. Good. I mean, he's dependable. It means he's dependable. It was a good shot. Like, it was a nice shot, Janson. That was the line.
Great shot, Janson.
Great shot. Yeah, I thought it was Jaxxon. Okay, so so they're saying that Christopher Lloyd's Mandalorian, and nobody knows what the character is. Basically, they just announced that he's part of the cast, right? There was nothing else official coming from it, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. There's nothing.
So we have here a vague. I won't read the whole thing, but the opening. Mando rarely works alone. Although the bounty hunter began as a lone wanderer, picking up odd jobs and bringing targets in warm or cold, he's become quite the team player. From Frog Lady helping him fight off a bunch of ice spiders to a huge team up in the season 2 finale that brought together Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, and even Cara Dune. Din Djarin understands sometimes you even. Oh my God, I can't even read this out loud. It's way too long. Is this all one sentence? Oh no, there was a second. No, there's 2 sentences. Sorry, there's a period right there.
Where is it? Yeah. Oh, from blank. My favorite. From blank to blank. We blank blank blank.
Yes, you're exactly right. This is a recap of everything in The Mandalorian. There's nothing here that says anything about Christopher Lloyd or anything about what this article actually says it's about, right?
It's background.
So right there.
It's background disguised as a lead.
Exactly what you said was going to happen, right? So I got to move this over a little bit so I can see it.
Yeah,
and then again, but there could another ally be on the horizon for Mando? One who's from the 1980s in more ways than one? Oh my God! This fan theory suggests that, and then I'm not going to continue reading this because it's awful. The writing is horrible.
A fan theory can't suggest. I mean, a fan theory is a fan theory, and it drives me nuts how. And it's true, a fan theory can suggest something, but a fan theory does not reveal anything.
And by the way, I don't know why it's not showing up in the article, but here, when I just Googled Christopher Lloyd, this showed up. Top search results, Mandalorian Season 3 theory. Christopher Lloyd will play spoilers. There's no spoilers in that because this is all theory. And as you've said many times, theory is not spoilers, right? So there's another reason why, how it's clickbait. So now this is suggesting basically that, what is it saying here?
Let's get to the point here. What the hell?
This is from a comic book. Oh, it's talking about... Hold on, let me just. So this, you can't. You have to read. I guess the whole point is you have to keep doing this. Like the advertiser probably loves all this scrolling back and forth. I mean, he must be really interested in my.
Right. Oh, there it is.
Bell Samsung Galaxy S20. Oh my God, they're advertising my phone to me, Kenton. They're advertising the exact same phone to me that I already own that I just bought a month ago. Idiot. Okay.
It knows. By the way, I saw the character's name lower down.
Oh, okay.
Way near the end, Tabby Dalla.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out. Okay, so it's right here. Lloyd could very well be playing Tabby Dalla in an adaptation of Star Wars number 68 to 69, non-canon comics published in Marvel Comics in the 1980s.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, it's exactly what you said. Exactly what you predicted it without even seeing this article.
They all follow this style, and one fan theory says, and the fan theory probably comes from the writer. Let's be honest.
Right. Well, exactly. It's like, how can we? And that's the. So I'm going to stop the share here. We don't need to look at that anymore. So that's what drives this is like people just thinking of, okay, what's a wild and crazy theory? Like one fan theory. It's like, who's fan? Like, where are you linking to this? Where are you seeing this? No, you just came up with it. So it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Like it's, I mean, what I love about it is, I mean, we work in a program where they teach journalism. And I mean, if I were teaching journalism, then I'd have to say like, here's how to write an article. And then you'd show them the lead and then the background and then the quote. And then as you go down, the story gets less important. And I'd say, this is how you write clickbait. And you just reverse everything. You put the lead at the bottom.
You have a whole course dedicated to clickbait writing. I'm sure that would be a popular elective if we offer that as an elective in our program.
Yeah. And search engine optimization is part of that. And search engine optimization hates bullshit. Like one of the rules of search engine optimization is act normal, publish things the way normal people publish them. And this kind of writing is not normal. It's abnormal.
I agree.
In an attempt to keep people there longer. Yeah,
it sucks. It's kind of a shitty way to do this. So unfortunately, it's just the reality of it. But what do you think overall about the Christopher Lloyd news? Are you excited about it?
Well, Christopher Lloyd is wonderful. He might have a 1-second role in this thing. I mean, that's always the thing you have to keep in mind with Mandalorian and with Star Wars casting news these days, unless a big character name is attached to it. Like if they said Benedict Cumberbatch is playing Thrawn, that would be a whole other ball game.
That's a fan requested one. Everybody wants that,
right? But he said he wouldn't do it because he wouldn't want to go through the blue makeup. And if that's the only objection, I say we hold them down and apply the blue paint now. Yeah, let's get them used to it. But Christopher Lloyd is a wonderful actor. He's a character actor. Is he likely to be playing a big role? Probably not. It wouldn't surprise me if he said, welcome to Doc Brown's droid shop or something like that. And they walked in and he bought a droid off him and we never see him again. It could be something like this.
He could be like the watermonger in the last season of the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
What's his name?
Right. That was Jimmy James from News Radio, whatever his real name is.
I always think of all the characters he plays. Yeah. I was going to say it was the man in the high castle. Like I just think of all these different things he does, not the actual name of the actor. So I apologize for that. And
as I always say, I like to call him Jimmy John, which is the U.S. restaurant. And I think I called him that for maybe 30 years before I realized that was not that character's name. Just like Jaxxon and Janson, same kind of thing.
Yeah,
They're
I think you're right. I think it won't be a major. I mean, there's two options. It's either he's a bit part just for the season, or he's a major character that comes on. And it really either is likely. Although I would say more likely that he's a bit part given his age. I think everybody in Hollywood who loves Star Wars wants to be as part of this show. So we're going to see more of these little cameos, these little parts as all these series continue. They're going to try and work them in wherever they can, and we just have to get used to it. Like I was kind of, again, it used to throw me off a bit when I saw this kind of stuff, but now it's just like, well, so what? It's they're actors. They're actors. They're playing a role. They're doing a good job of it. Right, there's nothing. I wouldn't complain about any of the performances in any of these shows. Like, they're all good actors, so I'm excited to see what happens. But I don't think it's going to be anything. I don't suspect they're going to do anything specific to any other movie. Like, I don't. Someone said that there was I guess it was a reference to Jurassic Park in the episode with Amy Sedaris, the one person whose name we can remember. Amy Sedaris. Oh my God. Amy Sedaris. There was a part where she gets grabbed and like dropped, and it was kind of like it's supposed to be like Jurassic Park when the guy gets dragged across the crate or whatever. And it was because the director was Bryce Dallas Howard, who was in Jurassic World, right? And I'm like, I guess that was that. I didn't really see it that way, and I don't care if was like, maybe she did that, but I think it's a pretty tenuous. And maybe it's like another one of those clickbaiters going, yeah, that's what it is, and just writing up that clickbait article. But that doesn't seem like it might, like that's what that is.
Yeah, big actors in Star Wars used to throw me too. And I remember when the prequels came out, I thought, what, Liam Neeson? We all know him. We all know Natalie
and Ewan McGregor. And I thought about Ewan McGregor. I'm like, it's the guy from Trainspotting. He's a heroin addict.
Yeah,
like,
we all know.
Guy?
Yeah, we know all these actors. This doesn't seem right. But then when you think back to A New Hope, there was Alec Guinness in there, who's one of the biggest actors of all time, just not as well known to kids.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing, same thing, like, star of countless horror films and whatever else. He shows up in lots and lots of
I think
movies.
that was part of why the movie was successful. It got the buy-in from the older generation because of the actors, and the younger kids just love the space and the lasers and stuff. Like, it appealed to everybody, but for all these different reasons. And yeah, you're right. Those were big names. But yeah, we didn't know who they were as kids.
I don't think there was any actor who I recognized when I saw A New Hope as a 9-year-old kid. I don't think there was anybody in there that made me go, this is acting. This is an actor who's been hired to play a role. And it was only let me think, when was our first? Probably Phantom Menace. Because I even remember being a kid for Empire Strikes Back and seeing Billy D. Williams.
I was just thinking about Billy D. Williams. Like, he did a lot of Colt 45 ads. Like, I saw him on TV a lot in those ads.
He influenced more kids in the 80s to try Colt 45 than anybody. Because even as a kid, I remember seeing those ads and going, Lando Calrissian says this stuff's good. I want to know what he's talking about. I'd like to try this stuff.
Me too. I did too. Yes.
It actually works that way. You're not allowed to do that in Canada anymore.
I don't even know if we had Colt. Was that even available in Canada? I don't even know. That might have been media spillover.
I'm sure it was.
Okay, well,
I'm sure it was. But
I was never able to try it, unfortunately. Never did try Colt 45.
All of that stuff.
Yes, you're right.
And our first, probably every kid's back in the day, their first time doing that was Popeye, watching Popeye eat spinach and get strong. And you're like, Mom, I like spinach. And then Mom makes spinach. You're like, this is terrible. Are you kidding me? Like, no thanks. That's one of the first times I remember.
But it worked. Got you to try it.
Yeah. But it did not. I did not ever try Colt 45. I have to say, I've never had it, but
yeah,
there's a first time for everything. And maybe on an upcoming Star Wars Nerds, we should try some Colt 45.
Maybe we should. I should see if it's there. Yeah. Okay, before we go, I have one more. I'm going to start doing this at the end of every podcast because so many things happen after we're done, right? This is, I don't know, we're going to call this a new segment where I'm just going to Google Star Wars news and see what comes up. And this is just something that came up when I Googled Star Wars news from Gizmodo. I'll link to it below. Star Wars Fallen Order's broken lightsaber is swinging into Galaxy's Edge. Cal Kestis voice actor Cameron Monaghan visited Disneyland for this collectibles announcement. So we have to see here a photo of, I guess this is the actor. It looks like a CGI. I mean, they do it so good these days. I guess it's supposed to be an actor with this lightsaber, but this is a lightsaber from the game that we both played, right? Fallen Order. Yeah. And I keep meaning to come back to it. I do want to come back to it because that droid, we saw the droid in Book of Boba Fett, right? With Amy Sedaris. Mm-hmm. So that kind of reminded me of it. I do want to kind of come back into this world and play around with it and see what it's like a second time around. But this is just a toy at Disney parks. This is all this is. So you can let's see here. Previously, Disney Parks have listed fans to vote on legacy lightsabers they'd like to see offered at Galaxy Edge on both coasts. The Fallen Order favorite won, and collectors will soon be able to add cals to their collections. So I guess they offer different lightsabers. This is like, how much is this going to be? Gives a little backstory on Cal Kestis. So even this is a better article than the other one because it actually gives information that's relevant. It doesn't say how much it is. Currently on sale, display and on sale. Why can't they tell me how much it costs? What do you think how much it costs? A couple $100 at least, right? Look at that detail.
Yeah, there's good detail in there.
Like the wires coming, it's broken. It's a broken lightsaber. So for some reason they talk about it in the article. I'll link to it. Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, I probably would never buy it. It's cool that they're kind of keeping this alive. I suspect we're going to see this character back in other stuff. Hey, this Cal Kestis character.
Yeah, I think it's bound to happen. I personally would never play the game again just because of the travel, the inability to travel once you visited a place is so frustrating. Although I finished the game, I did it, but boy,
it is because you have to retrace your steps, and it's repetitive.
Trying to get out of a planet, trying to get out of there, and you're like, there is my ship right over there. I can see it. How do I get to it? How do I run and jump and grab onto something so I can climb up? It's just endless.
Yes.
And even you're supposed to be picking up those tokens, I guess, as you go along.
Yep.
And then seeing one way up at the top of some room you're in and just going, how do I get that? And the answer is you can't get it until you go finish another planet, come back to this planet with your new thing to climb up there to get it. Oh my goodness. It's later in the game, you unlock some abilities to be able to move a little more free through the game, but even then, it doesn't really free you up as much as you think it might.
Yeah. The thing is, when I go back through it a second time, all that stuff's going to be unlocked, so I'm going to be able to access those things. So that's kind of what I want to see is what they intend for us to do with our repeated play. Now, I do think they could fix that. I think they could fix that glitch. They could install a travel system in an update or something. I'm sure they could do that. Like that, those save points that you the little Jedi temple save points, that could be your travel point, right? Why can't you just...
Exactly right.
That could just be it. So I think someone should, I don't know, whoever made that game, come on, get on it.
Well, I mean, there's lots of good stuff in that game, including the story.
EA made the game. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, the story's good in the game. There's lots that's good in that game that I really enjoyed, but that is the one thing that ruins the replayability of the game. And imagine if all of those Jedi Temple points, once you or save points, if you got to a certain part of the game, if they just unlocked them so you could travel, that just would be a very nice touch and feature. And even as a feature, you could turn off if you didn't want. If you like the trying to find your way back, you should be able to shut that off. But
right, exactly.
Yeah, but it is frustrating.
Coming back to the article here, it says the version's lightsaber that's on sale is based on when Cal acquires the lightsaber after it was damaged and only able to emit a single blade. You can switch it up as it becomes with a dual lightsaber adapter, so you can recreate the original double-bladed design if you buy an additional hilt, of course.
Oh.
So, always got to buy up all the stuff, and just for those people who love to spend their money at Disney World.
Action figure is sold separately.
That's right. Well, you become the action figure, right? This is making yourself the action figure is what this is all about. Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Cool.
Very nice.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you in the ass.
I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
Where did you dig up that old fossil? That's no moon.
Now I am the master.
TK421, you coming? Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power conversion.